So, everybody, thank you very much for being here. My name is Stuart Schlossman. This is an MS Views and News. We created the MS Hub in response to the COVID-19, as we know that now more than ever, the MS community needs to stay connected to resources and updated information. We have been having one presenter a month. This month, we're having two presenters to bring you we're having one presenter a month or two presenters a month from different advocacy organizations. And why we're doing this is we want to show you the resources and the services that each organization has that you may not know about. So we welcome in Natalie Blake from the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation and Derek Lee, also from the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation. I want to let you know that our supporters for tonight, we have Sanofi Genzyme and Bristol-Myers Squibb. And first, I want to just say thank you to Natalie and Derek for joining me tonight. And Natalie, so I'm going to ask you first, can you tell us about your role with the organization? Everybody sees your title, but if you could tell us your role, that would be great.
Sure. Hi, everybody. And Stuart, thank you so much for having us tonight. I am the Director of Program Services for the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation. And basically, I'm overseeing all of our programs and services. We have over 18 ongoing programs that are all free of charge to those that are affected by MS. And I oversee the people like Derek that oversee the actual programs. And I'm also responsible for pharma relations and getting pharma educational grants for our various programs and services and coalitions with other organizations. And I also do advocacy work for the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation.
That's great. Thank you very much for that. And Derek, tell us what you're all about. Tell us about your role there. If you want to add in anything about the band, you can include that as well.
Well, my official title with the foundation is the Associate Director of Quality of Life Programs and Services. And what that means is I run some of the programs at the foundation, like our assistive technology program. I help to oversee the cooling program and many of the other programs at the foundation. So, and I also managed our toll-free support line.
Okay, that's great.
He's really my right-hand person.
Right now, is he to your right or your left?
Right now, on this screen, he's above me right now.
Oh, gosh. Okay. All right. Fabulous. Thank you for that.
Did we pause for a minute?
Did we pause? No. Did you pause?
No. I did.
Okay, great. Okay. All right. Natalie, can you please share an overview of the types of services and the resources that the foundation has? You can split your time with Derek if you'd like.
Sure. We actually do really well working together. So, I'll throw it over to Derek. He'll throw it back to me. And in case each of us forget anything, the other one always keeps us honest. So sure. The Multiple Sclerosis Foundation has about 18 ongoing programs and services. Derek is actually in charge of many of them, and they include our toll-free support line. So Derek, you want to explain what the support line does?
Sure. So we have the support line available to fill calls not only to MS clients, but also to their family members, also to healthcare professionals as well. And so some of those calls may come in regards to publications. So we have a wonderful resource of publications that they can call and ask for. So that's something that we get calls from with our toll-free support line.
On the front line. So people will call us. They may have just found out that they were diagnosed with MS. And so they may actually call us as they're leaving the doctor's office because they did a Google search. And Derek's team is fielding the calls. They'll send them information, welcome kits. They'll give them the numbers for the various support programs from companies that have therapeutics for MS and resources. They'll help them find resources in their communities as well. So that's one of our largest programs. Then we have the assistive technology program, which through that program, we provide devices to help people do their acts of daily living. So it can be anything from grab bars in the shower to a shower chair to environmental controls. Derek, what else do we offer through assistive technology?
Well, one of the cool things is home modifications. So someone may need some sort of a modification to their home, like maybe to widen their doorway, maybe to get a ramp. A lot of times the insurance company will give you a beautiful power chair and you need a ramp to go on, to get that chair in and out of your house. You may need a ramp to put on the back of your vehicle. So that's another wonderful resource with the assistive technology program.
Yeah, we do vehicle modifications.
So that's fantastic. Thank you. But you guys are running way down my list of where all my questions are already. And I'm like, I'm going to run out of things to ask you. You're telling me all about everything
Okay,
already.
go ahead, ask us questions.
No, so I want you to expand a little bit on, please, let's go back to the cooling program for a minute. Can you tell us what people have to do in order to get, I mean, you say a cooling program. I understand what you're talking about, but maybe there are people listening right now that don't. So can you tell them, please, specifically what this cooling program is about and what they have to do to get what you're going to suggest?
Everything we do is by application. So the cooling program, which provides cooling accessories and a cooling vest, that is available through application from February to June every year. And Derek can go into more about the actual things you can apply for. But we all know that heat exacerbates MS symptoms, especially if you live here in South Florida. And people always ask us, why is the application process so early in the year? Well, we want to make sure you have the equipment that you need when the hot summer months come. So that's why we end it in June, but we're sending supplies out throughout the entire summer and also beginning in February. So Derek, want to talk about the vests and the other accessories?
Yep. So there, Stu, that there are different types of vests depending on, what that person's need or what the client's needs are. So we have a full vest that we send out. That full vest is probably the most, the coolest of the vests that we send out. We also have a fashion vest that we send out that kind of looks discreet. So you can't really tell that it's an actual vest. And a new company started making a kind of like a sports vest, something you wear underneath your clothes so you can't see it. So it kind of goes right down your spine. And so that, became another popular vest that we offer through the program.
And you can pick the type of equipment you want on the application. There's a picture of all of the accessories as well.
So talking about your application, can you tell us how people, what they have to do to fill out one of these, to get one of these applications to then send in to you?
Sure. All of our applications are available on our website. You can also write to support at msfocus.org if you'd like to request an application to be mailed to your home. Let them know that you would like an application for whatever program you're applying for, and make sure you include your name and address and phone number, because someone from our support team will probably call you.
That's fabulous. Thank you. All right, so let's go on to something else. All right, let's talk about your transportation, because I think that this was so needed. When you guys first came out with this, even in test for the state of Florida, I was like, wow, this is exactly what, I mean, I my skin is tingling right now because I just know so many people that needed this program. I couldn't wait to help promote it for you all. So tell us about it.
Derek, you want to start?
Yeah, so it was a pilot program. Got in contact with Lyft, and it's been wonderful ever since. So one of the problems, we also provide paratransit as well, and one of the problems that we noticed that with paratransit, you can only go within the county. And many times you may have an appointment that will take you out of the county. And so this became such a perfect situation. We now utilize Lyft and Uber, and it just became perfect. Started with University of Miami doing some test runs, and it's just kind of taken off because it's great, and you can take your caregiver with you, which is cool.
It's great.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Right now, we're providing transportation to infusion centers, a neurologist's office, and MS centers only because the demand for transportation was so great that we've also had to limit the number of rides individuals could take as well in order to meet the demand that we've gotten for this program. But it's now available nationwide. Uber does provide some accessible transportation, not in every city. So we've all really become dispatchers. We have a concierge system that we have a sign on to, Derek's team mostly, and we schedule rides for people. Again, you can't call us today and say, I'm
Dispatchers.
going to the doctor this evening. You have to send in your application, be in touch with the support services coordinator, and give them at least 24 hours notice.
So with what's going on in our current environment with COVID, how did people feel about getting into one of these share rides or even taking paratransit? Were you able to relax them in any way? Were you able to give them assurities? And if so, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Lyft and Uber did a wonderful job with communicating with their drivers. And in response, we talk to the clients. So there's a lot of safety protocols that go in to the drivers so they know how to act and behave, or they know how to maybe have some hand sanitizer in the car,
Right.
so that you're, kind of protecting each other. So
they do extra cleaning. You're supposed to wear a mask, and so is the driver. They do, I guess, where it's really cold, they must, not put the windows down all the way, but they do
Right.
have to keep their windows open. And like everything else, it's different now because of COVID. But as soon as the quarantine was lifted in the United States, the demand went right back up for that program.
Great.
Right
So
back up.
one more thing about the transportation program. So there's a lot of MS patients, obviously, with mobility devices. How did you get the Uber driver to lift a scooter into the car? Were they able to do that?
No. So one of the rules.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep, one of the rules is that you have to be able to get your
Own device.
equipment, your device, into the trunk. They don't do it at all. That's why it's good to have a caregiver to go with you to some of these appointments.
Sure.
So, and it has to be able to fit completely in the trunk of that Lyft or Uber driver's backseat.
Yeah,
Or
we
trunk,
say on
sorry.
the application that in order to use the transportation, you have to have a cell phone that's a smartphone and be able, well, not necessarily a smartphone, but you have to be able to send and receive text messages because the drivers are going to text you when they're near you. And
Sure.
and they're gonna, send you, if you've done a flex ride, they're gonna send you a reminder, to let us know when you need to be picked up and hit this link. So you have to have a phone. You have to be able to get into the vehicle either by yourself or with a care partner, and you have to be able to put your equipment in the trunk. So it has to be trunk size equipment. It can't be anything really big. That's where the
Gotcha.
Uber accessible transportation would come into play. And also, if you do have equipment and you do need a ride, there are other ways we can send you besides Lyft and Uber. We can provide accessible transportation via another means.
Great. Thank you for that. Now, obviously, 2020 has been an extremely difficult year. Can you please share with the audience the types of unique challenges being faced by the MS community as a result of COVID, and how programs like the Emergency Assistance Grant or Home Care Assistance Grants have come into play and how they could be useful.
Well, MS is an isolating disease anyway, depending on how mobile you are, if you can drive, if you can get out by yourself. So the COVID pandemic has really just exacerbated that. It's no longer safe to go out in public all the time. And, social distancing is an issue. A lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people with MS have now lost their jobs. They've lost their health insurance, and that's a major issue because how can you go to a doctor if you no longer have health insurance? We have a program for that too. We have the healthcare assistance program, which Derek can talk about later. And we provide visits to a doctor. Through our emergency assistance grant, throughout the year anyway, we provide funding for utilities that are about to be turned off. We provide assistance with rent if you've received an eviction notice, telephone bills. How has it affected us? Well, the amount of requests that we're getting are overwhelming. And the amount of funding available is not as much as we need for all of the requests that we're getting. But, the COVID pandemic has really just intensified any of the mental health problems people with MS and others in the regular community face. You face uncertainty and anxiety, and it's really been pushed to all new levels now because of COVID-19.
True.
Yeah.
So again, I asked you earlier about how do people get with finding out about how to get the transportation and whatnot. Is it similar for them to apply for an emergency assistance grant?
Yeah, that's really the program that has the most urgency that we provide. So right on our website, msfocus.org, the application is there. And the application also states everything you're going to need and specifies what we pay for. So it's not everything, it's just a certain number of things. You do have to fill out the application, but that, as soon as we get that application, we start working on it. If somebody calls us, we start working on it before we even get the application. Derek's team will get right on it, tell them exactly what they need to fax to us, and start working that case immediately.
Great, thank you. So going back now to, since you mentioned it earlier, and I wanted to bring it up anyway, but the Assistive Technology and Computer Program. Coincidentally, as I'm about to read this, somebody wrote in, "Hey, I'm using a Lenovo laptop that came from the foundation," and that was Diana, and she's in Virginia, and that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, but going back to what I was going to speak with you about is with telehealth and access to technology, so it's become such an important role for so many. How has this program been able? Your program, how has this been able to assist people?
Well, we took our computer program out of assistive technology a few years ago because the demand was so great, and made it its own program. And so it no longer depends on the other funds in the assistive technology program. And we've received an increase in demand, obviously, this year because of telehealth, because of the need to just get in touch with people. There's online support groups now, Zoom conferences just like this, offering education. And it's a way to really be in touch with individuals. We expanded that program this year. We received some additional funding, and we were able to really support more people than we would have been without that assistance.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. So, although it's winter in many parts of the country, there are people living with MS still struggle with heat intolerance. I don't know how, if it's, well, obviously there's still people living in warmer areas, but especially during exercise. can you please share some of the details further about how that your cooling program, what you were saying earlier about the vest? Is there anything extra that you can tell us about that will help people out even in winter months, so to say? Specifically, can you tell us why it exists and how they could go forward with it? Again, it's just more of a refresh of what you were saying earlier.
Yeah. So one of the cool things, one of the items in the cooling
Very
program
cool.
that yeah, is a deluxe neck wrap, and you can use this. It's not as overbearing as a vest might be, and you just simply wrap it around your neck. They come
Sure.
with cooling wristbands as well. So this is something that we find unique with the cooling program, the deluxe neck band with the cooling wristbands.
Great. That's very cool.
We have cooling hats as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
I've heard there's
we
cooling bras too. Is that true?
don't offer them,
yes,
but I'm sure there are.
No, I know. One
there
of the
are.
companies does. Derek has seen them. I know.
Yes.
So that's great. Thank you for those responses. You brought up another thing earlier. You brought up all the things in advance of when I was ready to talk, but tell me more about the home modifications, Derek. What do people have to have? Do they have to give you a layout of what it is that they need, or do you guys go there and evaluate the needs and how it's going to be handled?
No, with most of the time, the clients, they'll come to us. They know what they need, and now modification to a home can be expensive. So we sometimes give different referrals. There may be local county funds. Like here in South Florida, there's the SHIP program, where you can get help to modify your home. So wherever you are in the country, we'll look for different funding resources so that can assist you as well.
Okay, can you please say the name of that program again? Because you faded in and out for a second.
In South Florida, I'm
Yes.
sorry. In South Florida, it's called the SHIP program.
Okay.
It's offered
Right.
if you go to Broward County. Yep, go to browardcounty.org. It's called the SHIP program.
Gotcha.
A lot of
And that
times
helps.
people
That
will know
helps
what
with.
they need, and they'll go ahead and price things out and let us know who their contractor is. That happens very often too.
Okay, great. Now you guys have like a huge library of publications, right? Can you tell people how, or how they
Yes.
can receive and tell the audience more about what's in those publications and how they can receive these?
Yes. So if you go on our website, can you hear me, Stuart?
On and off. Yeah.
Okay. So if you go on our website and you look for finding help, you can find a list of all of our publications. You put all your information in, and we can get it sent right to you immediately.
Great. Is there any limit on how many they could order in case they want their family and friends to see things?
No, there's no limit to the publications. We'll call and make sure that. Are you sure you want 1,000 of each book?
Right. Exactly.
And in
Exactly.
addition to that, we have a wide variety of DVDs and cookbooks, anything relevant to living with MS. And some of them are written by individuals that have MS. And you request them, we send them with a self-addressed envelope to come back to us. And when you're done reading it, you send it right back to the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation.
Great. You guys have a department for where people can call in, like if they're feeling depressed or they just need somebody to speak with. Do you have a room of people for them to speak with? I forgot what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about, I think. Helpline.
No, we have the toll-free support line. Well, so
Okay.
it is a helpline, so to speak. They're all support service coordinators, and Derek's team is trained to speak to people. And, if we can't help you, they will find somebody that can.
Okay, that's great. That's fabulous. So now tell me about the health and wellness programs that you offer.
We offer a variety of health and wellness programs, group programs that we fund throughout the country, including therapeutic horseback riding, aquatics, yoga in chairs. My favorite is the Perky Hornets, which is an adaptive bowling league, and I just love the name. So I giggle every time we talk about the Perky Hornets. They're in
Where is that?
Maryland,
Okay.
Maryland, and we provide funding for these group classes. We work with the instructors. The instructors are responsible for finding a facility, and then the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation funds the classes. The instructors are the ones that usually take the applications for the group classes, and they handle all of that. We provide the funding. We also have an individual participation program because we don't have group classes in every city and every state throughout the country. So if there is a class you would like to participate in your community, let us know. You fill out an application for the individual participation program. Once your application is assessed, we may pay for an individual membership.
Great. So what do you have now virtually for all of that?
A lot of the instructors have taken their classes online. So the classes that we have contracts with are online. You can find them on our calendar, and you can also call and find out if they're available. A lot of classes now are free and open to the public, not just our providers, but so many other people are providing them as well. And we try to give you those resources.
Can you please give us a hint as to some of those virtual online programs?
Gosh,
A long list. Go ahead. Start it off.
I mean, there is a long list, and I don't have them.
So let me ask you, you have yoga classes?
You have yoga classes.
Do you have Tai Chi?
We do have Tai Chi. Oh, you want to know the types of classes? Yes. We have yoga classes. We have Tai Chi classes. We have water aerobics and aquatics. Right. Therapeutic horseback riding, which is very good for balance and mobility, and just an overall sense of well-being. Gosh, Dirk, did I leave any out?
Probably. Probably. How about?
I was thinking about David. David, I think.
Oh yeah, we
Bodybuilding.
With David
he
Lyons.
Does that. That's right.
Virtual as well.
That's right. That's right. So the benefit, obviously, somebody from Delaware can participate in a program happening in San Francisco.
Yes.
Right.
That is what's happening right now.
Exactly. So so that's a great thing. So somebody wants me to comment, hey, Derek, it's great to see you since the cruise. Great to see you since the cruise for a cause to the Caribbean, blah, 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 whatever. This is Delisa French. Okay, Delisa. Wow, I said your whole name. Sorry about that. But now you know who it was, right? All right. So anyway, yeah,
Hey, Delisa.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have said it, but I did anyway. All right. So going back to all these things. So you got yoga, you've got Tai Chi, you've got fitness. Do you have anything for wellness programs with regard to, like, say, a psychologist or a social workers, or anywhere where people could go online that, maybe, obviously there's a lot of people suffering from depression from this nightmare that we're living with, but is there more of virtual programs that people can go to interact with other patients, maybe to feel more involved or in touch with people?
Yeah, well, Stu, I'm off the bat, I'll just mention our MS Focus group page. There's so much interaction that goes on that group page, because that's where you can speak to your peers, and so I think that's really important.
And that's where?
That's on our MS Facebook.
Okay.
It's our group page.
An important question that I have for many people: what do we do with all the people, though, that are not on here right now and are not on the internet? How are we keeping them on target? How are we getting in touch with them?
We have our MS Focus magazine, which
Okay.
comes out quarterly. We're working on the next issue right now, and it should go to print by January 15th. The last issue was just delivered to individuals' homes. We put a lot of news into those magazines, news and announcements, upcoming events. We're gearing up for National MS Education and Awareness Month already in March, and we already have a theme. The theme is, Are You Okay? Your Feelings Matter. And instead of just sending awareness kits this year to just people asking for them, we are sending them to everybody that's a subscriber of our publications. So over 70,000 kits are going out, and they are going to talk about mental health issues. And they're going to offer a toolkit, basically, and resources for getting help, and also staying in the community and not remaining isolated.
So this is what you're doing for March Awareness? I mean, March
Yes.
Awareness Month? Yeah, great. That's great.
Yeah. And then
okay,
we have a network of support groups throughout the country. We have 200 affiliated support groups.
I haven't gotten to that
They
yet.
are not our support groups, but they're affiliated with us. But they're also available virtually now as well.
Yeah. Have any of them wanted to do something where they can provide small in-person programs? Do you allow them? Do you forbid them from wanting to do something like that? Where they could be in a large enough space?
Yeah, we don't forbid anybody from doing that. As far as we're concerned, we're going by the CDC guidelines. So we're not hosting any live events right now. If a support group leader in a certain community and their members feel that it's safe to meet, we would suggest doing it outside because that's safer. But again, it's very cold in many parts of the country, so that's impossible. I think the safest way to do it right now is online, but you can definitely.
There's many ways to do it. Yes.
Yeah.
There are many ways.
We don't put a lot of policy and procedure on the support groups that are affiliated with us. They can use whatever speakers they want. They can interact with pharmaceutical companies if they want to. It's your community, your demographics, and the people with MS that you serve.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Let's talk about the support groups a little bit more. Your groups, or the people that are affiliated with you with their groups, is that only in the United States, or do you also get into the Bahamas? Do you get into Canada? And maybe
we do not get into Canada, but we do serve Puerto Rico. So all of the United States and Puerto Rico. So we do have support groups in Puerto Rico, and we also work very closely with the Foundation in Puerto Rico, which is really the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation of Puerto Rico, but we're not affiliated with them. We do work with them, and we support many of their programs for individuals in Puerto Rico.
Is that with Dr. Chinea?
Yes.
Okay, great. That's fabulous. So the Bahamas, though, you didn't say that. Is that part of this or not?
No.
No, okay. Thank you for that. And going back
again, if you live in the Bahamas, you obviously can look at our magazine online, msfocusmagazine.org. All of the magazines, we don't ship out of the United States or Puerto Rico, but if you live in the Bahamas or Canada or anywhere in the world for that matter, you can go to msfocus.org or msfocusmagazine.org, which is the magazine's website. And there are digital versions of all of the past magazines there.
Great, thank you for that. So for everybody to know, we're online with you right now. This program is also being recorded, and we will have this on our YouTube channel in approximately 2 weeks. I say that about every program because we have so many that we are that far behind. It will get put up on there, so everything that you heard tonight, you didn't have to be scribbling notes because you'll be able to play it all back again, and we will let everybody know when we do this, okay? And I do want to get some of the questions that are coming in online, and I do have questions for you all that came in as people were registering. But a person, well, Linda is writing, do you have any outlines, suggested topics for the support group discussions? So that's a very good question.
We do, and we actually also have a newsletter now that goes to the group leaders for the support groups that are affiliated with us. And once a week, we send out a newsletter with suggested topics, with free resources. So you would find resources in there for, yoga in chairs or Tai Chi or whoever's offering it now online. The support group leaders get that information so that they can share it with their members.
Great, thank you. Nancy's asking for you to please shout out again how to contact your website.
Our website, msfocus.org.
Pretty simple, right? Okay.
Yes, sure.
And then we have Sherry wants to know if people in Canada can contact you for emergency assistance.
Unfortunately, we do not serve those outside the United States.
Right.
So we wouldn't be able to provide any funding for anyone in Canada.
They can reach out to the Canadian MS Society.
Okay. Is there only one society, only one foundation in Canada? Do you have any idea?
Well, I know that's the main one, but I think there's several organizations. I'll have to look it up, but the main one is the MS Society of Canada.
Okay, thank you.
And you can also write to support at MS Focus if you live in Canada.
Yep.
Derek usually reads that email along with his team. So if you ask the question, they would write back to you and provide the resources.
Great, thank you. Let's go to flip the coin a little bit here. There are people that don't have good healthcare insurance, that need to get infusions, and they're asking how they might be able to get assistance for copay assistance to help them pay for these infusions. Can you tell us anything about that?
I can tell you that unfortunately we don't offer the copay assistance for infusions. We do offer through our healthcare assistance grant funding for neurology visits. So if you did not have insurance and could not afford to go to a neurologist, we would pay for 2 visits to a neurologist. You have to have already had a confirmed diagnosis of MS, but you may not be able to go, for example, if you need a copy of your records, that you need a new prescription or anything like that. So we'll pay for 1 visit and then a follow-up visit, but we don't provide funding for infusion centers.
Okay. What about, can you tell us what you do with people who need somebody to come into their homes and help them to get cleaned up or do housekeeping or anything of that matter, lawn services, whatnot? Do you do that?
Derek?
Yep. So that falls up under our home care program, and we do light housekeeping under that program. So we have national contract or providers that we contract with, and so they'll first go in and do an assessment, and then we decide how many hours together we can allot for each client.
Okay.
And we don't tell you have to use these visits all at once or on consecutive days. We may say, okay, we're giving you 10 4-hour visits for home care, and they could do light housekeeping, they could make you a meal, they could help bathe, but anyway, you get to use those visits for a year period. You call us or call the agency and set those visits up when you need them. You don't need to use them for 6 consecutive days.
Well, that's another question I was going to ask you. Is there a limitation on how much a person can use for this during the course of the year or lifetime?
There's no limitation on lifetime for home care. There is a limitation per year. It really depends on that assessment that we get back from the agency on what the needs of the person with MS are. Through that, we also provide respite care for care partners. So our home care assistance does not just provide home care assistance for people with MS, but say you're a care partner and you're taking care of a loved one with MS and you have to have surgery or you have to go on a business trip. We also provide respite care in the home so that you can take care of your own needs and feel like your loved one is well cared for.
It's fabulous.
Stuart, and again, you might want to look locally at what's available within your county, because you may be able to find some extra hours just looking locally to see if the state provides.
Right. So, but what you were saying, is there a limit on the amount of like the cost for you all to do it as well?
For home care, there's no limit on the cost. There may be a limit on the number of visits you get per year. For a home care agency, most of them require a 4-hour visit. So it could add up if we gave you 24-hour visits. So it really depends on what your needs are, what the home care agency comes in and finds when they talk with you. We also provide in-home occupational therapy and physical therapy and speech therapy through that program.
Great. That's fabulous. Going back to the limitations, person is asking how many times you can bring them to their neurologist per year.
Right now we're offering 12 one-way trips on the transportation program. So that would be 6 round trips.
That's great. That's great. Do you do anything with MRI?
We do not. The Multiple Sclerosis Association of America has an MRI program, though.
Okay. You guys are doing such a great service to so many people. I mean, I didn't even know about all the things that you just mentioned. I did know about several, but not all. I do also remember that when I was first diagnosed, it was the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation that I was pushed to call and say, hey, I need help. I need help finding doctors. So that's something else that I wanted to ask you about. So if somebody calls your office and they're newly diagnosed, even if they're not newly diagnosed, suppose they're seeing a doctor that, hey, they don't really trust what they're saying about being told that they have to go on certain medications and whatnot. Do you have listings of different neurologists in different areas of the country that they can be turned on to?
Yep. So we try to link them up like with an MS center that's in their area. A lot of them, they just don't know. There's a lot of different neurologists, but you want to find a neurologist that specializes in multiple sclerosis. Correct.
If you live in a rural area, we may be able to look up some MS neurologists within a 3-4 hour drive for you, but we never recommend a physician. We'll tell you where the MS experts are, but we wouldn't tell you who to go to.
Right. So if there's no MS experts within 6 hours of where somebody lives in a rural area, would you recommend that they see general neurologists that might be in their area?
I mean, it's a simple search, and a lot of times that's what's happening with the phone calls that we get. Where's a neurologist in our area? We'll go on mscare.org and they have a little directory.
Sure.
That we can, guide the clients to go and look for a neurologist there.
But certainly if you're not feeling comfortable with your physician, and you just feel something's not right, trust your instincts. You're probably right. That's not the right doctor for you.
Right. And what about outside of neurology? What if they need a urologist or a psychologist or something else that relates to symptom management? Can you help them with that as well?
Yeah. So that's again, that's the beauty of finding those MS centers, and our chief medical advisor, Dr. Throer, we may reach out to him and he can give us some advice as well.
Good. Perfect. All right, so I don't have any more questions for you because I don't think that anybody needs another organization other than MS Views and News to be able to provide them these types of things. Okay, but I think you guys are doing a awesome job doing and providing for the needs of people. Okay, and I wanted to thank you for that. All right.
Thank you,
Do you have
George.
either one of you have anything you want to include on your own without me asking a question?
Well, I would just say that if you want any information about any of the programs and services that we offer, go to our website, which is msfocus.org. If you want to look at our magazine, go to msfocusmagazine.org or call us at 888-673-6287 or email us at support@msfocus.org. And you'll probably get Derek these days on the telephone. We're all working remotely, and it's absolutely amazing what people can do now from home.
Great, great, great. So I'm just going to say, if anybody's online watching this or participating in this program, if you have any questions that you wanted to ask, you have about 10 seconds to write it, because I'm out of things to ask at this point in time. They got so ahead of me, I couldn't even ask anything. So, all right. So no, there's
more.
nothing.
We have more programs we haven't talked about.
You do, but you didn't tell me about them. Go ahead, tell me.
Okay, what else? We have the transportation. We have the public library. We talked about that. The support groups, health and wellness. What else, Derek? I know I'm forgetting something.
Cooling programs.
The cooling program, the we call
computer grant program. You know, and we're headquartered in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but we serve the entire country from Fort Lauderdale. We don't have offices in every city, so our affiliated support groups are really our eyes and ears in the ground. We can think outside the box. There's not a lot of bureaucratic red tape. It's as simple as Derek and I talking about it and talking to our executive director about it. And we might provide assistance for something that we've never covered before, just because it is something that would help somebody live a better quality of life. I just got a text from somebody saying our education programs. Yes, we have a very large educational programs department.
Thanks, Deborah.
Debbie texted me to remind me of it. We've been averaging 1 to 2 programs a week since we've all gone to our homes, and we're having experts talk about symptom management, all of the types of programs you provide as well, Stuart. So there is a large variety. You can sign up for our news and announcements emails on our website, and you'll get notified about all the programs coming up.
Great, thank you. Mike just texted me separately from putting it into the questions. He says, I've received copay coverage through the Assistance Fund grants over the last 5 years. Since there are no MS funds for 2021, how can I reduce my copay? Utilizing lower fee infusion centers. If these exist, how do I find one?
I would start with calling the company that provides your therapy, the drug company. They do all have support services, and while they may not provide support for the actual infusion, they may be able to give you a list of infusion centers that are less expensive. Many of the companies actually have navigators who help you from getting benefits, private insurance, copay assistance. Some of them will provide free drug. Each one is different, but that's where I'd start.
Yeah, the pharmaceuticals, if you have any sort of insurance, they will work with your insurance company to reduce or totally annihilate what you would need to pay if you do have, regular private healthcare coverage. So, okay. All right. So that is it. All I can say is thank you for being online. This was, again, it was more beneficial than I can say that many of our talks have been in a long time. I'm glad that we were able to have you both on tonight and to be able to bring out all this information. And I cannot wait for it to be, where we can get it published. And if you don't mind, we'll put the link onto the foundation's social media pages, okay? And we'll get it up on our pages as well. And let's just use what we have to educate and as many as we can, okay?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you again for having
Thanks,
us,
Stuart.
and stay well, everybody.
Thank you. And I can't wait to get to the funky biscuit, Derek.
That's a whole
I can't
nother
wait to see-
program to talk about.
Yeah, that's a
Derek.
whole nother program.
That's right. Maybe we'll get to that later in the year, all right? We'll have to have you and your band on here, okay? All right, great.
Thanks.
Again,
Thanks,
everybody,
Stu.
thank you for being part of this program. We want to thank Natalie, and Derek, and we want to thank Bristol-Myers Squibb and Sanofi Genzyme for supporting tonight's program. And again, thank you everybody for being here. It was awesome. Thank you.